was spoiled, and would remain spoiled terribly because of that. And you know, and Stéphane Charbonnier is the man who said, I would rather die standing than live on my knees. I hope you're with him. I would rather die standing than live on my knees. And that then brings me back again to David Silverman. David, where are you? Woo! Yay! I got a few brief moments to talk to David today, and I asked him, why Memphis? I mean, if he said, well, it's the place where Martin Luther King was assassinated in 1968, I would have said, oh yeah, it's all about the civil rights movement. But he didn't say that. I also expected him to say what my waitress said last night, and forgive me for butchering the accent, but it sounded something like this. You came to Memphis to eat, to drink, and to listen to the blues. And so I thought, hey, atheists, they want to eat and drink and listen to blues, so they're in Memphis for that. But David Silverman said, no, we're not here to eat, drink, and listen to blues. I mean, that's a bonus. But we go to places where we know that there is a great deal of religious oppression. Last time it was in Salt Lake City, now it's Memphis. And I think that's a great strategy. It's a great strategy. Can you imagine in 2015 in the United States of America being an atheist and having to come out of the closet? Can you imagine that? And yet, my message to you today, I want to leave you with 3 points. And let's think of it as if we're brainstorming, because as atheists, that's what we do. We spend the day thinking instead of watching. So my first thought is that we want to acknowledge that there is a difference in 2015 between religions. Christianity in America may be at its worst so oppressive as to have individuals within a Christian family say, I want to follow my conscience, and have to deal with family members, neighbors, communities, and say, well, if you do that, then I don't love you anymore. If you're a woman and you tell your husband, I don't want to go to church anymore, I don't believe it, you run the risk of being divorced with all the consequences that we know. If you're a man and you do the same, you also run the same risk. If you happen to be a member of the LGBT community, you're even talking about laws being passed, not to serve you a cake. There's a gentleman, I want you to look him up. His name is Shelby Steele. Who groaned there? Well, as an atheist, you're supposed to at least take note of his argument, his experience. But he inspired me in many ways through his books. And one of the statements he makes there is, during the civil rights movement, if you were black, or right before, if you were black, and you would show up at any place, they wouldn't serve you. They wouldn't take your money because you're black, you weren't supposed to be there. And he says one of the biggest achievements of the civil rights movement is that after the racists, bigots were defeated, What stood between a black man and whatever he wanted to consume? It was his wallet. And I think that the LGBT community today isn't a place where you can afford to say to he who doesn't want to serve you or she who doesn't want to serve you, well, okay, I'm going to take my money somewhere else. And it took a long time to get there, and we're not yet there. In Christian America, when women fight for their reproductive rights, the right to work, the right to own their own bodies, and it's a long history, maybe about 200 years. But as a woman living in America, I can celebrate. I can say to the sexist, go F yourself.